this is Stacia, and I wanted to share a game that I played on chess.com. This is a standard game, 1510, and a very attacking game. So definitely attacking chess, which is why I want to share it. I have not analyzed this game yet, so we'll go ahead and do it together. And I'll explain my thought process as we go. So I opened with the move e4. My opponent played c5, and I played d4, the Smith-Morra Gambit. So basically saying, go ahead and take my d-pawn, but instead of taking with the queen, I'm going to try and speed up my development by offering my c-pawn, which is what we have. And my opponent played knight c6. That's normal. So basically, white has very smooth development in this opening, so it's very pleasant to play. It's one of the better gambits for when you're down a pawn, is my understanding. And I am now working with international master Calvin Blocker. And I actually have my second lesson with him tomorrow, so I'm pretty excited for that. But yeah, we're going to bring our pieces to very natural squares. A lot of times this bishop goes here or to e3. And then we want to put our queen on e2 a lot of times, rook on d1, castle kingside. All right, you get the idea. Black, on the other hand, has to really think twice about what to do when they develop. This move's risky because e5 is always a threat. So basically they have to adopt a pawn structure that is a little bit modest. It's not always clear where this bishop's going to go. Often a6 is a move, so b5 and bishop e7. But black honestly has a lot of options on how to meet the Morra. So let's see what my opponent does. I played knight f3, and he played the move e6. Okay, and I think that's fine. I'm going to consult the opening book for a minute. Yeah, it's the second most common, so basically these two moves are most common from here. Also g6. And usually black's going to play a Shevenigan. I don't know how to say that opening, but they're going to place pawns usually on d6 and e6 in the main line. Okay, bishop c4, natural, and now he went with this. Now this is called the pin defense. And in the book by Mark Eshelman called Mayhem in the Morra, which is an entire book on Smith-Morra and on attacking chess, and it's written beautifully and interestingly. So he mentions that against this move, often we're going to play queen d4. So I remember that in the game, and this pawn. But clearly here, this came a move later because the knight's already established on c6. So looking at the d4 square. So okay, so I'm not going to play queen d4 and lose my queen. So I had to come up with something else. And I recalled that I had this position in my first Morra ever over the board against Roger Carey at the Parma Chess Club, where I decided to castle in this position, allowing the double pawn, or allowing him to weaken my pawn structure. And I recalled that the computer liked this approach. So I went ahead and did it again, castled. So I'm saying, I'm just going to develop, and you can play around with damaging my pawns if you like. And he did. And now knight there. So I think my opponent realized that putting the knight on f6 is a little risky because of a well-timed e5 at some moment. I don't know if I would do it right away, but I might play a move like this. And with the dark square bishop gone, that pin might be a little bit annoying. But okay, he went here. And usually this comes with this idea. But the knight is useful here, I must admit. And with the dark square bishop gone, you're not blocking in that bishop. Okay, so bishop g5. So I do want to see what the opening book says about this move. Oh, okay, well there's only 5 games in this position, probably because my opponent played this move, bishop takes c3. Yeah, so not a common move. It's actually most common to go here first, but he went with this. And I also want to see what the engine says. So apparently, that's a good move. And this is an inaccuracy. Okay. Yeah, and so I've had more than a couple games where the computer called bishop g5 an inaccuracy, so maybe I should take the hint, right? So basically, black can just castle here, or even play h6, and I can go bishop h4, but usually the bishop does belong on e3 in these types of lines. But I am curious what the computer would like better here. So moves that come to mind are e5, although it does give up these squares to his knights. Maybe I don't like that. This seems to lose a tempo a little bit, although it just looks natural to me. Also queen e2 comes to mind, just guarding the bishop and preparing rook d1, and maybe bishop e3 instead of bishop g5. And the computer is saying, yeah, a move I didn't consider, rook e1, rook e1. So maybe saying that the rook doesn't need to go to d1, perhaps the other rook will go there. So that's pretty interesting. And now that I consider it too, often I don't have a pawn on c3. Usually the pawn's back on b2, and this rook comes to the open c file. So I see now that I should have paid more attention to my pawn structure and planned my rooks accordingly, like this. This rook would be useful helping to defend this pawn, lining up with the king, and maybe preparing this move at some point. I'm not sure. But okay, so rook e1's the best. It also gives bishop a3, not a move I considered. Bishop a3. Looks kind of awkward to me. And queen d6 is also a move. Yeah, so this move I did consider during the game. I forgot about it. But this is an attacking idea. I call this the queen wedge. And I notice it's a common theme in attacking openings. Because black would love to get d5 in at some point. That's kind of their dream move. And if they do get that in, I think that I'll probably be just worse. He'll at least be equal. Maybe better because I'm down a pawn. Well, actually a lot worse due to my pawn structure. So moves like this stop them from advancing. So even though it looks kind of funny to put my queen here, I actually thought that putting a rook or a queen here might be good because there is no dark square bishop. So, and if as long as the knights can't easily maneuver, which this one can't, maybe it could come to here at some point, then this might be a good idea. Okay, but let's go on with the game. Bishop g5, I thought he should castle. He played h6, and yeah, okay. So again, I don't understand this opening that well yet because clearly the bishop serves a purpose on e3 that I'm not aware of. The computer again and again tells me to put it here, so I'm going to start doing that. I think it's because the bishop often will cause trouble on the queen side. Not there, like here. So, okay, but I went bishop h4. Computer likes black here. He castled, and I played queen e2 with typical Morra ideas. So basically the normal plan in the Morra is to play queen e2 and rook d1 and rook c1 like I was saying. So I am a bit lazy, I have to admit. I go into this plan probably more often than I should, but rook e8, you know, isn't as natural putting your rook behind a pawn. So this also defends the bishop. I don't like having undefended pieces. So I think this is totally fine. Oh, now the computer's saying it likes this. All right, and a6. So I believe that my opponent wants to play b5, attacking my bishop, although I kind of was thinking, this is a move I want to play. So if he wants to pressure me into playing a move I want to play, that's fine by me. Rook d1, and yeah, so he played this. And you can see that the computer likes queen a5 earlier instead of a6. So let's have a look at that. So yeah, this is an excellent square for the queen, I'm noticing. My dark square bishop is kind of totally away from the side of the board, so it cannot attack this queen. So the queen looks pretty safe here. It also has excellent scope along the fifth rank, and it's eyeing my c pawn, which is weak. So yeah, I can't think of a better place for the queen. So I like the computer's choice here. Okay, a6, rook d1. He played b5. I pulled back, and bishop b7 was played. Yeah, and interestingly enough, you can see the computer likes this move, queen to b6 instead. Maybe due to how the game goes. Here, I decided to play rook d6. Okay, so instead of a queen wedge, I accomplished a rook wedge. And I like this move because I want to double on the d file. So rook d2 would have been a way to do that, but this is even better because, you know, I think black would like to play d6 or d5 eventually. And now he can't play d6. So it really kind of cramps him down pretty well. Notice too that the knight is pinned by my bishop, so he can't really move his queen. Well, he can because this knight's guarding. But this is just awkward, I think, for black. So I was feeling pretty good about my position here. Computer's calling this equal after queen to c8. Practically speaking, though, I think it's hard to play black here. I prefer white. Yeah, and now this mysterious move, king h8. And I might turn off the, I'm going to turn on self-analysis. Oh boy. And I gotta, maybe I shouldn't, because it just goofed up my board. Okay, yeah, and we're fine. And sorry about the mishap. Maybe I'll edit this. Yeah, king h8. So if I had to guess, I think my opponent felt uncomfortable with the bishop lined up with the king, and also was considering the move f5. So perhaps that was the idea, with the idea that this pawn is pinned by my rook, so I would have been able to take with check if the king was there. I think that's what they were concerned about. What concrete line exactly, I'm not sure. But I was pretty happy to see this move because a tempo could be pretty valuable to me. And I have the most natural move in the world to play next. Rook to d1, rook a to d1. And computer wants to play, let's see, yeah, rook a d1. And now the computer likes white quite a bit. So yeah, just one bad move, one tempo, and white's looking really good. Computer is giving plus 1.5. Okay, so what should he have played instead? Yeah, queen c8. So this steps out of the pin. I mean, quite simply, it steps out of the pin, and what else does that do? Guards the bishop, and again, eyes the pawn. So pretty interesting. Okay, so I played rook a to d1 here. And my opponent now played, yeah, bishop to c8. So, I mean, clearly, you know, when I played the rook here, I'm attacking the pawn, you know, it will fall if he doesn't do something. But man, this move, yeah, you don't want to play this. And it turns out that white does have a win here immediately. So if you'd like to pause your video and figure out the move for yourself, go ahead and do so now. Yeah, and I'm kind of sad I didn't see this in the game because I saw this idea earlier, and here I have the opportunity to play it, and I did not. And it's the move rook takes c5. And this is a beautiful move because this is defended by the pawn and the knight, and both of these pieces are pinned. So that's lovely. So if he takes with the pawn, I take the queen with advantage, and if he takes with the knight, I also take the queen with advantage. So so this basically wins a piece right out the gate, and probably end the game for sure because white's position is just too good. Instead of that, yeah, I played this move e5. Yeah, and I remember thinking for a long time here. So one thing I did not do is consider all my captures. And had I looked at this at all, I think I would have saw this move. So I'm actually in the middle of improving my tactics. I hit a new high tactic rating on chess.com, but yeah, I want to like just ingrain it in my head to always look at checks and captures and then tempo moves. So not seeing a capture is a little disappointing, but e5 is a good move still. I mean it's a blunder because I missed because I missed this, but white's still better is my point. So okay, he went queen c7, and this pawn is still defended. And now, if I recall, I started having ideas. Yeah, when I played e5, my idea was actually to play queen e4. And I wanted to prepare that with bishop c2, play queen e4. This would pin the knight to the rook as well, and also threaten mate. And I thought if he played g6, I'll have this check, which might be useful. And you'll see this plan actually comes to fruition. So I play bishop c2, and yeah, here's my idea. It's pretty straightforward. And knight here. Yeah, and so to be honest, I actually calculated this move and this move um, in this position actually. So I actually thought he might have wanted to do this now, and I still have the option to take with the bishop if I want. And if he went here, then I thought I would just perhaps move my bishop here and let him take if he wants to. But as in the game, the knight came here, and now I went ahead with my plan, queen e4. So, okay, I'm threatening mate. He needs to do something about that. He played g6. I think that's probably the only move. If f5, I think he just gets mated, right? So I'll take, and he has to take with the knight because the knight's guarding, but the knight's also attacked by the bishop. So I think here, yeah, what can you really do? Yeah, this is just not good, right? Yeah, and finally, I can't quite do it yet. I guess I have to go here first. And now it's saying, oh, that is checkmate. What is wrong with me? Okay, and if f5, I can take because now I'm threatened to checkmate. So pretty much he's got to take this away. But now I can take with the bishop. Now I'm threatening checkmate again. I mean, it just looks horrible, right? If king f8, now I'm crashing in. Only move is king f7. And probably just taking here's. Let me see, is this checkmate right now? I think it is. Almost. No, back to f8. Or g8 rather. Yeah, but this is checkmate. Okay, so as you can see, f5 isn't an option here. So g6 is the only move which was played. And now I have this check. And the king already is looking pretty sketchy. He only had two options. Or did I play this yet? Maybe I didn't. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I actually prepared this check by sacking here. Yeah, because obviously if I check right away, he can just take it. Yeah. So we take the knight. Okay, we take the knight. He takes back, attacking the queen, but we have a check. So he can't take the queen, he's in check. He goes, yeah, I thought he should go king h7 actually. Just defending this pawn. And he did. And now, I really liked this move. My queen's still attacked. I mean, I could take the pawn, but there's something stronger. Knight g5 check. Now, I was really happy to find this move because basically I just want to open the h file. I thought if my queen was on h3 and I played queen h3 check, he would have to bring his king over to this square, g8, whoops, and well, with the open h file, that would be checkmate. My bishop's on f6. So that's the reason I played knight to g5. And, if he doesn't take it, like if he goes king g8, let's see. I'm actually not sure. Probably I can just play queen to h4. He still can't take because that would be checkmate. So yeah, I like queen h4. And don't forget, I have ideas with this too. So my opponent did take the knight. And so this plan actually worked out. Now, I said queen h3. I can't play that right away. So I had the option of playing queen f3 or queen g4. And I thought both of them looked good. Because the thing is, it's like black will have a tempo to get out of this. But what can he really do? He really can't do much at all. So I played queen g4. Turns out both moves win. This is slightly stronger. And yeah, black needs to stop this move. How can he do that? So he can take my rook if he wants. That's a move. He can take my pawn with his knight if he wants. He can try to bring his knight over. He can bring his rook in if he wants. I'll take it. He can go this way even. Yeah, like if rook here, I don't take the rook right away, of course. I play here. Now I have checkmate by taking the rook. So unstoppable threat of queen h3 check. So I really like this attack I had. So I played queen h3 check. Yeah, what did he play in the game? I'm sorry. I'm getting carried away. He went knight d4. Okay. I mean, that's great. He's going to take my pawn. I don't know what this is supposed to do. Or he's trying to get his knight in like this, probably. but queen h3 check, and the only move is here. And checkmate. So there you go. So it turns out this attack I did was actually best play. Computer agreed with it. So I hope it was instructive for you as well. But let's also go back and look at the highlights of the game. I think pretty much I know what the highlights are, but let's go through. First move, and I'm going to put, I'm going to take the engine off because I just want to review what we've learned here. Yeah, I don't know that this move by black was that good. I would recommend against trying to wreck white's pawn structure. I mean, they're down a pawn, so white is going to aggressively develop and try to get, initiative. So this didn't help black. Also, this is black's good bishop. Usually this is the bad bishop. So voluntarily giving that up, I don't like for him. Bishop g5. So here, computer liked rook e1. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, rook or bishop e3 is safer because I guess just like in the game, there was later a queen a5 and maybe like a bishop d2 would have been useful. So keeping the bishop more flexible than I did in the game, like this type of thing, isn't as good, I noticed, because when you want to attack here, probably the bishop gets in the way of the pawns and maybe wants to switch to the queen side. So yeah, this is a little too committal. Or this is fine, like I could even play bishop g5, but then pull back. So this plan of going here wasn't the best, although this pin was useful. Queen e2, rook d1. So I went with the normal plan. Yeah, and now this attacking idea, cramping black with this rook wedge, turned out to be strong in the game. Yeah, and although I know my opponent wants to play f5 and make use of his rook here, but this is just plain too slow. He needs to do things like queen a5. I think that was a bit better. All right, so I bring my rook over. Yeah, and if you have to play this move, you should already know you're in trouble. So, okay, e5. So my blunder in the game was this move e5. So always look at checks and captures, especially in critical positions. And, this is a position where white needs to figure out how to continue. So I would call this critical just because I'm down a pawn, and if I don't find accurate moves here, black may find ways to untangle, and my initiative could go away very quickly. So yeah, just look at captures. I should look at capturing the pawn anyway. I should look at capturing the knight. I should look at capturing the other knight. These are all moves that need to be analyzed. So this does win on the spot because both of these are pinned. Very pretty. Okay, but e5, this is a typical Morra move. And I do have a bad habit of relying on normal moves. And so I need to be more flexible in my brain. Queen c7. But here I like the plan I came up with. So obviously this whole plan of bishop c2, queen e4, and fighting back f5 with this, and fighting back g6 with a rook sack. This all worked out. Yeah, so here queen e4, and after this was a very satisfying move to play. A little scary. I mean, in the game, I'm like, I think this works. Like, my calculation looked good. I was kind of scared maybe I missed something. But yeah, he has to take. And now check. Here. Check. Opening up the file. And it's really pleasant that I found queen g4 or queen f3, recognizing that black has no useful moves to defend against the threat of queen h3 check. So he does that, but what do you really do? and checkmate. So I hope you enjoyed this game. This is probably definitely one of my better games, probably that I've ever played uh, in a standard game, and definitely my most attacking. Um, so I actually did a Bobby Fischer sack mate, So, I played rook takes knight on d5, and I played knight g5 check, sacrificing my knight for seemingly nothing for an open file. So, yeah, I'm feeling pretty happy, you can probably tell. I've been in a bad rut the last few months, but mostly because I'm learning how to play this way. So, when it comes to fruition like this, makes me excited for the future. Hope you enjoyed the video and have a great day. Bye.